Double Game Week 22 captaincy is closer than you might originally think. You'll see why in the data analysis during the video. Let's start by building the shortlist. First up is the player who I believe will be the most popular option. That doesn't necessarily mean he is the best option. We'll find out that during the video. It's Marcus Rashford. He's got a double game week against Crystal Palace and Leeds, both at Old Trafford. It's close between him and his teammate who of course has the same fixtures. It's Bruno Fernandes. And lastly is a player who I wouldn't captain myself because I don't like to captain a player with one fixture in a double game week. It's Haaland against Spurs away. Fantasy Football Hub posted a captaincy poll on Twitter and I was shocked by the results that more people voted for Haaland over Bruno. I'm going to debunk that in the video. Before we move on to the stats, both the United players have the home advantage in both of their fixtures, whilst Haaland has to travel away from home. They also benefit from being midfielders, they get the extra point per goal scored and the clean sheet point potential as well. Let's take a look at the non-penalty stats for this season. Both of the United players have had their figures doubled for comparison because they've got two fixtures. Even with that, Haaland beats Bruno. It's Rashford who tops the non-penalty return points and expected return points. They're the non-penalty stats. Haaland's the only player on penalty duties for any of the Manchester clubs. There's no confirmation of who's on penalty duties for United at the minute. However, both of the players on the shortlist have indirect free kicks, direct free kicks and corners, unlike Haaland. Now let's take a look at the probability of each player scoring and assisting. These odds are based on the assumption that each United player plays 180 minutes and Haaland plays 90 minutes. We'll review the expected minutes later on in the video. Rashford's got the highest anytime goal scorer odds with 67%, Haaland's behind by 14%, Bruno's got roughly the same as him. However, Bruno's got 56% chance of providing an assist and Haaland's only got 20%, whilst Rashford's on 41%. Combining the anytime goal scorer odds and anytime assister odds, Rashford's got the best chance of returning with 81% chance of success. Fernandes is just 2% behind, but Rashford's is weighted heavily on goals, which is more important because he gets 5 points per goal scored and 3 per assist. Haaland's odds aren't even worth considering. Don't forget he only gets 4 points per goal scored rather than 5, so his weighted odds are even worse than what they look on the screen. Moving on to the points projections, Rashford's got the highest overall with 11.2 over on Fantasy Football Fix. It's Bruno's got the highest on Fantasy Football Scouts with 10.5. With both sites disagreeing, we're going to have to go off the averages. Rashford's got the highest average with 10.6, Bruno's got 10.15 and Haaland's got a measly 5.8. By comparing the opposition's defence, you can see another reason why it's worth captaining a player with two fixtures in a double game week. Yeah, the Spurs defence has conceded more goals than it should do this season, but when you combine the defensive numbers of two opponents, you can see how much better it is. There's only a 1% chance of United not scoring against either of these two teams and they're both keeping a clean sheet. Another thing that's not on the screen is the home advantage. Don't forget United play both of their fixtures at home, whilst Haaland plays against Spurs away, so it's actually even worse than what it looks on the screen. Before we draw up a conclusion, let's carry out a quick risk assessment. Haaland's had an ample amount of resting time with 9 recovery days. It's not ideal for the other two players though. They played 2.5 days before this fixture, especially Fernandes, he played 90 minutes, whilst Rashford only played for just under half an hour. If anything, there's enough expected minutes on the screen to confirm the player that I'd like to captain. I believe he's got the highest ceiling, it's Marcus Rashford. The team selection video will be published tomorrow morning. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss any of these videos.